Welcome to Meaningful Conversations Live with Beata. I'm Beata, your host.
Life is just overflowing with goodness. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so very much. And today we are speaking about you in your life and generally what is definition for emotional intelligence.
Sure. So when I think of emotional intelligence, for people who are thinking about the work front as well, I think about how it is that we respond to situations or extra emotional, causing us to be stressed. When we have that emotional intelligence, then that'll maybe not be so high up on the mountain or so low down in the valley. We can just kind of meander through the meadows and the foothills, working with other people, because so often we may respond to a situation in one way, but somebody else would respond in another way. So being able to have that empathy and that compassion to be able to see what it is that they are really saying instead of interpreting.
Go to the next question. I want to say we are live. So whoever is live with us, please let us know. If you have any questions to Victoria, please do not hesitate to ask them. You have a chance to ask directly Victoria Johnson. Come on. She is amazing woman. So ask your questions when we are still here. So the next question from my audience actually is, what is a good example of someone exhibiting great emotional intelligence?
Okay, so I will just use a simple example that we can all relate to. And what's coming to me is, say we're in a situation, maybe we're in the bank. And I don't know if any of you have tried going through this situation, but banking has become a little more difficult. I don't know about where you're at, but where I'm at, we basically have to line up outside the bank or make an appointment or so on, right? So the little voice in my head is saying, this is ridiculous. I don't have to make an appointment to go to the grocery store. Why do I have to make an appointment to go to the bank? This is my money. Why am I standing in line outside in the cold for a half an hour waiting to access my money? And, going on and on and on. Where the emotional intelligence comes in is trusting the process, knowing that this is for the better good of everyone, being adaptable to the change, being flexible, and not having a physical and emotional response myself that impacts me negatively and likely would impact the people around me because I'd be voicing my frustration. Instead, having the emotional intelligence to just go with flow. And that doesn't mean being complacent. That means being adaptable.
So what I hear is basically managing yourself and your emotions.
Yes.
Were there an moment in your life or some event experience that you needed this experience, this skill so badly? If so, can you share?
Pretty much every day.
What one, like the most meaningful?
I will say one thing that really comes up for me, and this is personal, but I'm going to share it with your audience anyways, and that is that I've been divorced for a long time. Like, I'm sure it's got to be 100 years now, right? I've been divorced for, in all likelihood, 28 years. And somehow I still get triggered, even though there's been zero contact with me. I still get triggered when it comes up. And I want to react, right? And so how I use the emotional intelligence is to instead either learn to be quiet and wait and ride it out, let the feelings pass, let some time go by, see if it's still important to me tomorrow, then maybe I can address it. And just to be responsive rather than reactive, and to take care of my own good health when I find myself getting triggered by, just even some offhand comment about divorce or something that pertained specifically to my divorce. Basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a better life for myself by using those skills of emotional intelligence. And so some people might call that a little selfish, but that's okay. Self-care is not selfish.
Exactly. It's what I want to say. Selfish, it's self-care. It's not selfish, really. I love that.
That's right.
And
yeah, and we've all been there where we've lost our temper, or we've gone off on something, or we've been impatient, or we've allowed our feelings to become very hurt. We've all been there, and we know what it feels like. And the more we can avoid those feelings, and the more we can just stay in the reality of the situation and not tell ourselves stories that aren't true or may not be true, then the better we can cope in this. And just like a muscle that we would work out at the gym, we become stronger emotionally.
Absolutely. And I believe that when we are aware of that triggers, we, instead of avoiding, we can just manage it, like you said, respond instead of reacting. And you
Yes.
also said something very important, what speaks to me, especially: write it down. If you feel triggered, write it down. And you even went further, because you said the revisit, maybe not exact the same words, but you said revisit. If it's still important, maybe it's worth to look at closer to what is triggering me, what is going on. I love that. Thank you for highlighting that. And here, actually, I think it's a good moment to ask you, because when we go through these emotions and we are still learning about the emotional intelligence, it's usually when we go through healing. I know that you are expert in that area. Please tell us how you help people to heal, or did you start with you, or how does it happen?
Thank you for that question.
Absolutely.
And definitely it starts with me. And it's so interesting because often with my coaching clients, we are talking about healing and areas of our life that we need to heal, messages that are coming forward that maybe we heard throughout our childhood, or maybe we heard it from an old friend, or an ex-spouse, or someone we were in a relationship, something that makes us feel unworthy or not good enough, and that we have to work through and heal those feelings. And so I find that the best way to help others is just to provide that safe and supportive space for them to be able to discuss it, to talk about what they're truly, honestly feeling deep down inside and where those feelings come from. And then just being able to look at it logically, letting go of the emotion, just being able to look at that situation logically so that we can release it and move forward and not have to keep stumbling on that same obstacle every time.
I love that. And there is no better skills than knowing how to manage your feelings, yes, during these times. Wow,
yes.
Wonderful. And I just want to say thank you, Nancy, Isabella, Jenny, for being with us. If you have any questions, again, please let us know. Victoria is here for you. Either it's about healing or any other area of your life, please do not hesitate to post your questions. Victoria, so what is the best way, or is there a way to learn these skills, how to build the emotional intelligence on a daily basis then?
Well, I'm a huge fan of journaling. And journaling doesn't have to be difficult. It can be something that's done in point form. And just, jotting down through the day when you notice that you're having either an emotional or a physical response to something. Sometimes I notice it more physically than I do actually emotionally. I find that my breathing gets a little bit more shallow. Maybe I'm feeling like my heart's beating a little quicker, those types of things. And yet I feel like in my mind, nothing's wrong. So I really have to analyze what's triggering me now. And if you do this, even for a few days, you'll see the pattern, right? You'll maybe see that every time you pick your kids up from school, you're feeling a physical response. Maybe every time you look at your phone and it's a certain person calling or texting, you're feeling an emotional response. And those are the little gems You know, and I love the little gems because those gems allow us to really dig deeper and say, what is the emotion behind this? What is the pain behind this? What's causing this? Where has this come from? And how can I heal it and move forward? And it just creates this really big opportunity for growth. And that's what each of those little triggers are, right? Is opportunities for growth so that we can move forward and move past them and step more into the life that we are here for, you know, that we're destined for, in being in service of to others and you know, helping us reach our own pure positive potential.
I love it. I love it. And since, you know, I'm fan of journaling as well, do you have any favorite prompt or question that you like to use for yourself or your clients?
Oh, yes, I do. So this one is from, yes, I'd love to. This one is from Dr. Robert Holden. For those of you who may not be familiar with Dr. Holden, he lives in London. He wrote with Louise Hay the book Life Loves You, and he also has written many other books, Lovability, Shift Happens. He was behind that Dove campaign for women, the Happiness Project in the UK. Amazing, amazing things. And so to answer your question, the journaling prompt that I use the most, especially when I've been triggered, is, who would I be right now if I was not judging myself?
I love it. Wow. Can you repeat, please?
Yes. Who would I be right now if I was not judging myself?
Wow. And everyone who is listening, we are judging ourselves on a daily basis. Wow. What a powerful question. Who would you be? Who? Ask yourself, write it down. And please share with us if you are willing to. Victoria, what exciting are you creating right now?
Oh, I have a few exciting things going on right now. I'm so excited. So first of all, on the writing front, I'm working with more writers to help them become authors or to release another book. I love coaching writers and working with them. I have a writer's workshop coming up in November, and that's going to be in Canada. You can find that information on victoriajohnson.org. And then the Heal Your Life training is coming up in October of this year. And you can find the information on victoriajohnson.org there as well, or you can go to thattraining.ca. And that is where we train and people to become teachers in the work of Louise Hay and the philosophy of Louise Hay, and coaches as well. So that's always really exciting. And, you know, it's been a big shift with COVID, right? With the pandemic, with people shifting their businesses. And I am really enjoying doing more work online and just, you know, developing my skills, helping people through the digital format just really opens up the world for us all. And if there's one thing that I do know, and especially from a place of emotional intelligence, is we are all one. We are all the same. And whatever country we may be in may have difficult situations that are not in another country, but deep down inside, who we are is connected. And so we can all be here to help each other to light the way.
So do you have any final words, quote, whatever you would like to leave our audience with? I don't see any questions. Everyone is shy today. So especially for days like we have now with this COVID situation, with this,
yes,
you know, unsettled souls that we are experiencing, everyone is kind of nervous, exhausted on the other side. So what do you have, any calming words or inspiring words, whatever you want to share?
Well, here's what I would like to share, and that is that for many people, this has been a bit of an emotional roller coaster. Some people have found it to be quite relieving because it took them out of their day-to-day stresses. Some people have found it that they've had more anxiety and fear and stress just because of all the uncertainty. And I just want to share with your listeners that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, that's totally okay. And just to embrace that feeling and be with it in the moment. And don't try and push it down and say, you know, oh, I'm a loving, positive person, or I'm a spiritual person, I shouldn't be feeling fear. You know, like really just give yourself a break and let go of that self-criticism. Feel what you're feeling and just go ahead and move right through it. And know that whatever you're feeling at that particular moment in your life is totally okay. Use it as a growth experience. Use it as something that you can look back on and say, hey, I got through that. And the other day I was feeling a little uncertain. There's, you know, so many different ways to be doing our work now and so many different things going on. And for a lot of people, there's been a lot of shifts in finances too. And I came across this beautiful quote. And so I printed it out and put it on my wall. It is by Dr. Wayne Dyer. I will read it for you now because it applies to each and every person. It says, allow yourself the luxury of believing in the divinity of your own soul.
Wow, that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Oh my goodness. Everyone listen again, write it down, put on the wall or your mirror and read it every single day. Thank you so much, Victoria. And the final question is, what is the best and easiest way to reach out to you?
Oh, thank you for asking that. That's very kind. So the best way to email me or to contact me is probably through email. It is victoria@thetraining.ca. And I get those emails and respond to them all the time. Victoria@thetraining.ca. I will respond to every email. So if you have any questions after the show, you can either put them in the comments of the show and I'll take a look at them there, or you can email me. My website is victoriajohnson.org. And I would just be so happy to hear from you. And it's been a pleasure to be your guest. Thank you so much, Beata.
Thank you so much. And actually, before I let you go, I have Mark Mittelstadt. I don't know if you heard of him. He just wrote his book and he was my guest. He's wonderful. And he is saying hi to you and me. And I think, guys, that you should connect it. Like you are similar souls. So I'm making this introduction right here. So,
thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you. You do similar work and who knows, maybe something big can go from there. Anyway, I will leave it for you. Thank you so much, Victoria, for joining us today. Thank you to my audience and your audience, hopefully that will listen to us.
Yes.
Please send us your feedback, connect with Victoria, and, you know, just make more meaning in your life, because life is why do we live? To be more happy. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.